Hello everybody. Welcome to this video. My name is Elena Muratova. I'm an Olympian life transition coach and wellness specialist. Happy to be here with you today and to talk about how to change a bad habit. It's really important information that I want to share with you today because it can just lead you to success in your habit transformation if you use it. And firstly, this step is more about similar to reaching a goal. First, and this actual step is about having a clarity about your target behavior, about the behavior that you want to change. And in this sense, it's just similar to setting a goal, just to have this clarity about what you want to reach, what you want to change. Basically, you need to be very specific about changes you want to make. Sometimes we can just think about habit as, I go to bed late, not on time, so I want to change this habit and have enough sleep, have enough hours of good sleep during the night. And I want to change that bad habit of not sleeping enough. Or I want to exercise more, so I want to change the habit of being less active or not active enough. But again, it's all these wishes or desires, they don't have enough concrete information, enough clarity. So basically, the first step in habit transformation is to create this clarity, to understand what exact behavior you want to change. And there are two types of behavior you need to focus on during the habit transformation. So the first one I mentioned already, target behavior. So behavior you want to change. Basically, you want to increase some of your behavior or decrease some of your behavior. But there is also another behavior that you will have in this picture. It is competing behavior. So basically behavior that compete with your target behavior. Behavior you usually do instead of what you want to do. So for me, for example, I can watch Netflix and do cross-stitching instead of going to bed on time. So that's watching Netflix and doing some cross-stitching. It is my competing behavior. And of course, there can be a few competing behaviors. Just mentioned, I have two, but I usually do them simultaneously. So it's basically, well, I can say it's more like one, but we all can have a few competing behaviors that can compete with our target behavior. Can be anything. I cannot think about other examples right now, but maybe you have some ideas, so welcome to share. Yeah, another example is being more active. For me, going to the gym, I need to plan it in advance. I need to have my training plan because some competing behavior can be like, going, just saying something to myself that, oh, I can go the next day. So just having even this thought can compete with my target behavior, or being not very well rested and just wanted more rest can compete with going to the gym and being more active. So there are different, I think you got it already. And I can move to another point I wanted to cover. I mentioned it a little bit before, that you just need to be very clear about what exact behavior you want to change, what this behavior is exactly in details, and how often it occurs. It's very important to understand how often you are involved in that behavior, just because it in the beginning, because it just helps you to understand if everything you are doing is helpful or not. So for example, if I go to bed on time just one day during the week, I know this, that if I started to go 3 times a week on bed on time, there is some improvement in what I'm like. Everything that I've done before for that was very helpful. So again, it's just important not only understand what exact behavior you want to change, but also how often it occurs right now and how often you want it to occur in the future. Like, what is your goal? Like, I don't know, I can say my goal will be going to bed on time 5 times a week, at least during the weekdays. And knowing the goal, it's really critical. And of course, to understand all this information, we need to observe ourselves. Like, we need to be more aware and mindful about ourselves, because it can be tricky to understand what's exactly happening. We can think that, oh, there is my competing behavior, but then when we start really noticing, we can realize that there are different types of competing behavior, or maybe there is different target behavior that I can focus on instead of my previous ideas. And observation can be tricky, can be simple, depend on the behavior, but some behaviors, of course, we can notice, we can observe them, and some behavior, such as our thoughts, we just cannot see. Or we cannot see them in other people, but we can see our own thoughts, understand them. So again, sometimes it can be like more easy to notice some of our behaviors because it's just more visible even to us. We know that we didn't go for a walk today, or we ate some food we didn't want to eat. But with thoughts, some emotions can be tricky to notice them sometimes because we become used to them. And when we start this observation process, we can do it for 1 week, maybe. Usually 1 week can give us very good statistic or good data on what's happening with our behavior. Because basically what you need to do, you need to focus on your actions, your thoughts, your emotions that attach to your behavior, and ideally write them down to remember and understand them, and then to analyze them as well. And right now I lost my thought. Sorry. Yeah, I was talking that we can just understand that we need to focus on something different, how to adjust our target behavior. So in my case, for example, it can be, I think that my target behavior can be going to bed on time, but then when I started to do some thinking, some mindfulness practices, just became more aware about what it like about myself and what I do. I realized that actually my target behavior can be, decreasing doing some activities that compete, for example, or just going and brush my teeth, because when I brush my teeth, it's more likely that I go to bed right away. So again, like, we can understand if our initial target behavior is actually what we want to change, or we can just to see what other maybe little behaviors that can be helpful to easy to change in the beginning, and clear to understand what exact actions we need to do to change them. Yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to say about how to cover this first step And just again, remember that this first step is to have clarity of about your target behavior, exactly what you want to do. Not just saying that, I want to be more active, I want to go to bed on time, but actually saying that I want to lie in my bed, already lie in my bed, like at 10 p.m. without watching my cell phone. To be very specific, or when we're talking about being more active, again, be very specific that I want to go for a walk every day for 15 minutes, for example, or at least maybe like 4 times, or every weekday I want to go for a walk for like 30 minutes. And this will be a target behavior. And then again, we do the same with competing behavior, trying to understand what exactly we're doing, what we're thinking, what actions we take, what's happening. And we can find some behaviors, competing behaviors that we do more often than other, and then we can focus on that specific competing behavior and understand, again, like there's next steps we can do to manipulate with our environment and make our environment more stimulating for our target behavior and less stimulating for our competing behavior. So it's great that somebody is here, and this is the first episode, so thank you for supporting me and being here with me today. It's so great. Bear with me while I'm trying to understand how all this Facebook Live works. I know that I have I can open the options to help you, or to just invite you to ask questions and polls, but I hope I will think about that later, hopefully. Oh yeah, I can see now there is a comment, things that people can write a comment. So yeah, if you have any question, please write a comment. I hope you have this option too. In this case, I can answer your question. And always you feel free to ask me any question, even outside this live videos. I will be happy to answer. And sometimes it can be challenging to clarify the behaviors, like the target and competing behaviors, to become specific, because sometimes it can be tricky to understand what is it exactly that I want to do. So again, I welcome you to ask them on my Facebook page, Happy Body Center, or on my personal page in Facebook, Elena Muratova, or just send me a private message and I will be happy to answer them. But just remember, be really clear about your target behavior. Do not start changing your habit without understanding what exactly you want to change, what exactly you want to reach. Use some specific numbers, use some description of your target behavior, as I said with my example about going to bed on time. So it's not just, oh, I want to go in bed on time. It's I want to lie down on my bed at 10 p.m. without scrolling, in my cell phone. So, and then my competing behavior is watching Netflix, do cross-stitching, and can be something else, but they're mostly of the time those ones. Working can be competing behavior too. Is that? Yeah, and then this is the first step you can just take, and you can observe yourself, be mindful about yourself during a day or a week, depending on how often you involve in your behaviors, and then you can write down everything that you observed and analyze that information, and based on that information you can go to the next step, which I can talk about later if you wish. Just let me know about that. And thank you for watching me. It's so great. I hope to see you next Tuesday at another episode, the second episode. If you want to hear some information on some specific topic, please just, again, let me know, because I will be happy to talk about what is more important for you. Okay, so difficult to turn off. Okay, I'm turning off, and I see you next week. Thank you. Bye.